Welcome parents and students alike to lesson 7.8. We're at the end of our unit on fractions. So today we have some word problems. It says to solve, draw diagrams or number lines if it helps. I told the students to cross out this last part because number lines and diagrams do help. So Jack buys 4/3 pounds of plums. Martin buys 6/3 pounds of apples. Who buys more fruit? And then they want you to explain your answer. I tell the students to circle the important information and then underline the question, and then make sure we underline both questions. Let's look at this. Remember that if the denominator, the bottom number, the denominators are like, if they're the same, then the numerator with the greatest value is greater. How would I explain that? Well, on the number line, if I use these lines as number lines, 0, and this is 1 whole, this is 2. Let's call these 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. And then we're dividing them into thirds. Each one is a third. This is 1/3, 2/3, and 1 whole is same as 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, and then 9/3. So 9/3 is same as 3, 6/3 is same as 2, 3/3 is same as 1. So we have two values here, two fractions. 4/3 pound, 4/3 is here, and then 6/3, which is same as 2. So you can see when you see that they're both fractions are thirds, it's going to be on the same number line. So then you just look at the numerator and see which one is greater. Whichever one is closer to the right-hand side has greater value. So 6/3 is actually 2 whole pounds. 4/3 is just a little bit more than 1 pound. All right, so the answer to the question, Jack, who buys more fruit? Jack buys more. And explain your answer. I'm sorry, Martin buys more. I gotta get the name straight. Martin buys more. And explain. Okay. His apples weigh 2 pounds, which is more than Martin's. Okay, May runs 10/4 miles every day after school. Beth says she runs farther than May every day because she runs 5/2 miles every day after school. We circle the key information. Question, we underline it. Is her statement correct? Explain your answer. Well, we notice that the denominators are different. One is 10/4 and the other one is 5/2. We're going to put a symbol in here. Which one is greater? Well, it's hard to compare because if the denominators are different, then they're on different fraction bars, or they're on different number lines. So we could change them. One of the ways we could do it is to change 5 halves into fourths. How do you change 5 halves into fourths? How do you change a 2 into a 4? Well, you can multiply it by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Well, if we multiply the denominator by 2, we have to multiply the numerator by 2. So really all we're doing is multiplying it by 1 whole, because 2 halves are same as 1 whole. All right, so 2 times 2 is 4. We do the same thing on top. 5 times 2 equals 10. So you can see that 5 halves is same as 10 fourths. So they're equal. And so to answer the question, is her statement true? No. They ran equal miles. Bess knitted 5/8 of the scarf she is making. Has she knitted more than 1/2 scarf? Hint, find equivalent fractions in eighths for 1/2. Again, we can change 1/2 into eighths. How do we do that? What do we do to 2 to make it an 8? Answer is you multiply by 4. So then we have to do the same thing on top. We have to multiply 1 by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. You could see that 1/2 is same as 4/8. So which is larger, 4/8 or 5/8? Well, now we have the same denominator. If we have the same denominator, then the larger numerator is greater. So we could say that 5/8 is greater than 4/8. But the question is, has she knitted more than 1/2? Well, we know that 4/8 is 1/2. Let's look over here on the eighths. This is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. So up until this pink mark is half. So 4/8 is half. If she knitted 5/8, it takes us past the halfway mark by 1/8. So you can see that up until here is half. Past that is more than half. So the answer is yes. Yes. 5/8 is more than 1/2. Okay, I'll let your students do 4 and 5. Looking on the other side, the table shows the number of each type of book sold on Monday and Tuesday at the book sale. On Monday, 223 fiction, 166 nonfiction, 92 used. On Tuesday, 137 fiction, 247 nonfiction, 88 used. On Monday, how many more nonfiction and used books are sold than fiction? Whenever we say how many more, it's a subtraction problem. So we look at Monday, all of these, and we're looking at nonfiction and fiction. We could see that fiction I'm just trying to figure out on Monday how many more nonfiction are sold than fiction. Well, I'm confused because there's more fiction sold than nonfiction. So perhaps they wrote it down wrong. How many more fiction? Oh, I see. I read it wrong. I do this all the time. How many more nonfiction and used books are sold than fiction? So we have to, it's a two-part problem. How many more nonfiction and used? We have to add these two together and then say how many more is this than fiction. So first we say 166 plus 92, and then we subtract that from nonfiction. All right, and I have to use the margins, and I stack it. All right, first we add it. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 plus 9 is 15. 1 and 1 is 2. So this is 258. So how much more is 258 than 223? 8 take away 3 is 5. 8 take away 3 is 5. 5 take away 2 is 3. And then that's it. 2 take away 2 is 0, so no hundreds. So the answer is 35 more. Okay, next, Rachel has 20 1-inch beads. She wants to use all of them to make a square picture frame. What will be the length of each side? So we're talking about, it says draw a diagram to represent the situation. We're talking about a perimeter. And a square means it's equal sides. So we have 20 1-inch beads, and we divide it by 4 because a square has 4 equal sides. So the answer will be 5. So each side will be 5. And if they want us to draw a diagram, if this is 5 inches, then all of them will be 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. That's the perimeter. They're asking you, what is the length of each side? The answer is 5 inches. Complete the number line. Show all fractions, including the fraction for 1. So they want us to draw sixths. So half, if this is 6/6, half of it will be 3/6. And it's easy to find the halfway part. Then halfway between here is about like that. That's 2/6. 4/6, 5/6. All right, we got that. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.